Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Apopka High School welcomes you to Joe Sterling Gymnasium for Game 2 of the 9th Annual Metro vs. Florida Challenge, presented by Burnfat Orlando and St. Germain Chiropractic. Please welcome our guests wearing the red jerseys, visitors on the scoreboard from Astronaut High School. They are the War Eagles. And wearing the white jerseys, home on the scoreboard from University High School, representing the Orlando Metro Conference, please welcome the Cougars. Let's meet the teams, beginning with Astronaut, and we'll start at guard with 6'5" sophomore, number 0, Jace Carter. At guard, 5'8" junior, number 2, Jaden Dollard. At point guard, 5'10" junior, number 3, DeTwain Joe. At forward, 6'1" junior, number 4, Lewis Arnold III. And finally, for the War Eagles at guard, 6'6" junior, number 11, Kario Okendo. The head coach of Astronaut in his third year with the War Eagles, Mr. Kyle Gilreath. And now let's meet the University Cougars, starting at guard with 5'9" sophomore, number 2, Jason Carlisle. At guard, 5'9" senior, number 4, Carlos Machuca. At guard and small forward, 6' senior, number 5, Roberto Bello. At power forward, 6'4" junior, number 12, Ryan DeAli. And finally for the Cougars at power forward, 6'3" sophomore, number 33, Eric Shepard. The head coach of the Cougars in his third year at University, Mr. Eddie Johnson II. Tonight's game is being live streamed on YouTube. If you have friends and family who are not able to join us in person tonight and they would like to follow along, send them to our YouTube channel. It's called Metro vs. Florida Challenge, and we invite you to send them to that link. We also have live scorecasts streaming online to MetroVSFL.com, as well as a full live copy of our program in full color. Again, that's MetroVSFL.com. And welcome back to Joe Sterling Gymnasium here at Apopka High School. Mark Barchi, the voice of the Metro vs. Florida Challenge, with media director, along with Neil Fisher of the Apopka Chief, here to take you through Game 2 of this 20-game event.
Well, again, Mark, thank you. As always, a fine introduction there. As we said, University versus Astronaut High School. And this should be an interesting matchup. We got a pair of teams that have had quite a bit of success over the last couple years, unlike the previous game. Looking at University, of course, Mark and I are the regular announcers for Wekiva Mustangs, and we have an opportunity to play them. 2 years ago, Wekiva University played in the first round of the FHSAA postseason Class 9A tournament. They were the district runner-up, University that is. Last year they moved up a spot and took the District 9A4 championship, finished off with a 29 record and made it to the second round of the FHSAA postseason tournament. Eddie Johnson II is their coach, and their fortunes really changed with his arrival to the program. Unfortunately, they are having a bit of a trouble this year, and this is where you see some difference. You got a team that's had success. They've gone through a bit of a down period throughout the first half of the season. They come in only 3-9 through the end of December, and but they do have Carlos Machuca. He was their leading scorer last year. He returns as a senior this year. That's number 4, so keep an eye on him. He was joined this year by Joseph Rodriguez, a junior, and Ocypher Owens. Both of them have contributed over 15 points a game. On the other end here, we got Astronaut High School. Of course, they're representing Florida. They're a Class 5A District 7 team. They've won 3 straight district championships. They come in with an opposite record, overall record of University. That's 9-3, 2-0 in their district. And they actually got into the FH postseason tournament last year, but were unable to win any games.
And here in this game, Astronaut opened up the game with 2 consecutive turnovers, which is why we have no points on the board yet. This has been their most successful look so far, as they were able to at least get a couple of shots off. And here we're going to get a foul as number 11, Kario Kendo, is fouled on the attempt. He'll go to the line and shoot two. The foul is called against number 33, Eric Shepard, his first and the team's first.
So Astronaut actually, got a lot of information up here, Mark, and sometimes it's hard to keep up with everything. But Astronaut actually is 4-0 so far this calendar year. So they're 13-3 overall, and they are also ranked 13th statewide according to the Max Prep in Class 5A.
Putback is made by number 0, Jace Carter.
So a great opportunity here for University to really make some movement up that ladder as far as the status. Again, they're having a bit of a downturn this year and been struggling, but this is that opportunity to kind of establish themselves as the team they were last year.
Mark, who's white 15? I don't have a white 15. Jace Carter picks up 2.
So Astronaut, a bit of a surprise, something different than what you usually see. They're using a 2-3 zone. So far, it's been no reason to argue as they've yet to give up any points.
I got it. I missed it. Jaria Pagan in.
And also, for the record here too, Mark, University is missing a couple of players out of their main rotation. We were just informed of that a few minutes before game time. Nice spinning move there. Good job recovery defense by Astronaut, clogging up that middle.
3-point basket by Carlos Machuca from Jariel Pagan.
So 4.5 minutes left in the first quarter, and University gets its first point, cutting the lead 4-3.
No luck for Dollar down the paint. Put back no good either. Foul's called against Astronauts number 3, Dwayne Joe, his first and the team's first. Checking into the game for Astronaut number 55, Kajan Summers.
So also, and because we don't see Astronaut hardly ever because they're out on the coast, Astronaut is coached by Kyle Gilreath. He's in his third year, and just like Eddie Johnson arriving at University, Gilreath is his arrival at Astronaut really turned the program around.
Good spin move there. Kajan Summers picks up 2 for the War Eagles.
Yeah, and again, it's one thing to make that spin move. I mean, everybody can make that 360, but you have to also understand the reason you're doing that. That's to create some space to be able to lean towards the basket.
Jason Carlisle, 4-3 on the pass from Carlos Machuca.
So, again, mentioned at the beginning of the broadcast, look out for Machuca, and he comes through there bringing University into a tie. And despite University's rough start there, especially the field goal shooting, they missed their first 3. When all is said and done here with 3 minutes and 19 seconds left, no harm, no foul as the score is tied at 6-6. So Astronaut again in a 2-3 zone. Although that zone is not static, as you're seeing number 4 there, Machuca in the middle. He's kind of going back and forth. And speaking of the devil, Machuca, Lewis Arnold III, comes up with that rebound. And on the other end here, we got University. They're also in the 2-3 zone. So again, no harm, no foul as both teams take a field goal attempt and miss both. Second game, Mark, of this Metro versus Florida Challenge.
Thank you. Please don't leave the table. Is that three? That was three, yes, that was three.
DeTwain Joe for 2 for the Astronauts. And so Astronaut takes the lead here with that go-ahead basket.
And if you just tuned in, Astronaut is wearing the maroon purplish colors. University is in the home whites.
And we're going to have a fire drill here and change about half the personnel on the court. So look for this to be a fun drive.
Yeah, it's time to get that second unit in for both teams. And with an 8-6 score here, Astronaut in the lead. We've seen a little bit of everything here, both good and bad from both sides. So again, Mark, and this is the Metro versus Florida Challenge. And what that basically is all the schools located in Orange County are part of the Metro Conference. We got 20 games, and each of them has a school who's a member of the Metro Conference. They take on a school from outside the Metro Conference or Florida at large as we get a turnover here. And at the end of the 20 games, we will add up which side scored one more games, the Metro Conference or Florida.
Three-point basket scored by Jaden Dollard.
So Florida took the opening game there with Windermere Prep defeating Freedom.
Chase Carter picks up 2 for the War Eagles. And so now Astronaut is on a 7-0 run since the game was tied at 6.
Yeah, 3 for 3. A couple of 2-point field goals and a 3-point field goal. Opportunity to run that lead all the way up to 9 in a row.
Carlos Machuca for 3 for the Cougars.
And Machuca strikes again, answering Astronaut's run. They needed to get some points here to end the run and also get some momentum heading into the second quarter.
And that's going to take us to the end of the first period, and it's a 4-point advantage for Astronaut, the War Eagles. It's 13-9 is the score over the Cougars at the end of 8 minutes here in Game 2 of the 9th Annual Metro vs. Florida Challenge, presented by Burnfat Orlando and St. Germain Chiropractic.
So as we get into the second quarter here, quick look at the stats. Certainly are in favor of Astronaut. Explain why they have a 13-9 lead. Of course, Astronaut scored 7 in a row there at the end of the first quarter. Most noticeably, University not shooting the ball well from 2-point range. As a matter of fact, they're shooting about as bad as you can, only 0 of 6. And while Astronaut is 5 of 9, so 55% as opposed to 0. That obviously is going to give you a lead.
Kari Okendo gets the basket and a chance to make it a three-point play. The foul is called against Prince Dogor. That's his first personal foul and the team's second.
So at the three-point range, though, a bit of a different story, and that's really what's kept University in the game. They are actually 3 of 5, while Astronaut is 1 of 4, so 6-point difference there. And as we look at the point, it is a 6-point difference. Otherwise, it would be 15 to 3.
That's 3. Yep. Yes, sir. And please don't.
Three-point shots get scored by Duke Hodge.
Yeah, and no sooner did I say the three-point prowess of University, they drain one, cut the lead down to 3. Astronaut actually is at a disadvantage in turnovers, 4 to 2. But they do have the advantage, a big advantage in rebounding, 14 to 3. So again, stats are certainly paralleling the score here with 6.5 minutes left before halftime. University is yet to score on a 2-point basket, while they are 4 of 6 from three-point land. That's really keeping them in the game and offsetting the field goal percentage from 2-point range as well as rebounds somewhat.
Dollard on the rebound. The War Eagles go to work at the other end.
So again, Mark, second game of the Metro versus Florida Challenge. Got 20 lined up over the course of 4 days. We'll take a break on Sunday. Got 3 games tonight and 3 tomorrow.
Checking into the game for University, Roberto Bello.
Was that a missed field goal?
Huh? No, it was steal.
So Astronaut again continuing to, wouldn't say they're turning the ball over at an alarming rate, but certainly at a rate more frequent than University. And again, that has offset the poor field goal shooting from 2-point range. The University running a lot of perimeter motion offenses. And now Astronaut, they started off in a 2-3 zone. They've switched to a man-to-man. Long-range field goal there. Too hard, clicking off the heel of the rim, and a quick outlet there to get transition going for Astronaut.
Oquendo is fouled prior to the attempt. So no shots for this one, but the foul nevertheless is called against the Cougars, number 22, Joseph Rodriguez. His first, the team's third.
So as Homer Simpson would say, nope. So 6 turnovers now for Astronaut compared to only 2 for University. Still got 4.5 minutes left before halftime. And University likes to swing that ball from the outside to the inside. They're not much of an inside-outside-inside team. And so far, again, from 2-point range, it has not paid much dividends. They've not been able to get any shots to go down.
Timeout, Astronaut. 30-second timeout, 4:11 of the second period.
The War Eagles request a 30-second timeout. And we'll take this opportunity to thank our friends at Elevate Orlando, a civic nonprofit focused on helping students to grow in strength of character and application of essential life skills. They teach in the classroom, they model through mentoring, and they incorporate all of that into what they do so the students can apply it to their lives. Through partnership with OCPS, Elevate Orlando's curriculum is offered as an elective accredited course. And as private employees of Elevate Orlando, their teacher mentors are able to spend over 50% of their time outside of school mentoring students. Elevate Orlando. Putback made by number 0, Jace Carter.
And again, strong awareness of where the ball was by Carter. Ball was tipped right to him, and he was in the right place at the right time, establishing himself there.
This time, Jace Carter is fouled on the attempt. He'll go to the line and shoot 2. Foul is called against number 5, Roberto Bello, his first personal foul and the team's 4th.
Another transition opportunity created by Astronaut there off that rebound. Not quite as long as some of the other passes we've seen, but just as quick. Getting it up along that sideline there and into some open space where they can set up their motion offense.
Jariel Pagan in for the Cougars.
So again, I know I keep harping on it. I know I'm probably beating it to a dead horse, but it really is the difference in the story of the game so far. University's 0 of 10 from 2-point range.
Hold is called against War Eagles number 4, Lewis Arnold III, his first. And the team's 3rd.
Oh. An 18-12 score now as we come down to 3.5 minutes. University has gone to a more methodical, more systematic pace. I wouldn't quite say it's a slow. I mean, they are moving the ball, but not as quick as they were during the first quarter.
Prince Togord from Roberto Bello for 2.
And that's the first 2-point field goal of the game for University. They were 0 of 10.
Out of bounds. It remains with Astronaut. Thomas Waldron is into the game.
And University, good defense, making inbounding very difficult for Astronaut, and they eventually do get the turnover there. Collapsing down into the middle there, good work with the hands, getting them around the ball. So again, Astronaut with 6 turnovers compared to only 2 for University. University has not turned the ball over here in this second quarter yet.
Open jumper, and it goes. That is Roberto Bello on the pass from Jariel Pagan.
Second consecutive field goal attempt from 2-point range from University.
And where it looks like this might be slipping away from the Cougars, they're now back to a 2-point game. And we're going to get a foul called. Foul is called against Cougars number 40, Duke Hodge. That's his first personal foul and the team's 5th.
So, and again, both of those field goals, which University has just converted, were set up by good passing. Again, not those long arcing passes across the paint, just very quick, precise paint, 3 to 6 foot passing, which gets the ball closer with each pass into the interior.
Second chance basket by number 55, Keyshawn Summers.
So no sooner do we lament on University doing a good job of taking care of the ball, and they make a careless pass. Fortunately, they catch a break as Astronaut returns the favor, just as careless pass.
Ryan Ferner into the game for Astronaut. Three-point basket scored by Carlos Machuca.
And so Carlos Machuca continues to lead University, continuing to do not just on the points, but he's also done some work in some other areas. But again, it's that three-point shooting of University that's really standing out. That's their fifth of the ball game.
Traveling, War Eagles ball. Yeah, Machuca is now up to 9 points, 2 rebounds, and 1 assist for the Cougars tonight, so he's definitely trending toward MVP status if his team goes on to the win.
Yeah, and again, it's not just those tangible stats. He's just really made himself a presence, somebody who University can lean on. He's really stabilized and calmed this team down. The first, I guess, real significant blow was struck by Astronaut, 7 consecutive points, and Machuca came back and scored a tray, which calmed the team down at that time. And he's also made some good plays on defense to make sure that that lead by Astronaut did not grow too much.
Farner loses a ball to a steal by Machuca. And then down at the other end in transition, Duke Hodge draws the foul on the attempt to go to the line and shoot 2. Foul is called against Keyshawn Simmers, his second, the team's 4th.
So Hodge, again, showing some good awareness there of drawing that foul, drawing the contact, leaning his body in such a way that it drew the contact.
Jaden Dollard into the game for Astronaut.
Unfortunately for University, he misses that free throw. An opportunity left, some points left on the table.
And he will pick up the second one, though, so we're back to a new ball game as we enter the closing minute of the half here.
20 all. And what's really been a story of Astronaut shooting very well. Again, they shot 5 of 13 in the first quarter, 5 of 9 from two-point range, but they can't hold on to the ball. So,
yeah, continuing to be plagued by turnovers and giving University extra possessions. That's what's keeping them in this one.
Yes, and University also is shooting the ball very well from three-point land. 5 been made.
Foul called against the Cougars, number 14, Prince Dogard. That's his second personal foul. And the team's 6th at the line shooting 2, number 11, Kario Okendo. And so, Neil, that would put bonus on the board for the last 23 seconds. Unlikely to be a factor, but in case it is. And here we're going to have a substitution. Checking into the game for Astronauts, Christian Oldinetti.
So also, not only does Astronaut have a penchant for turning the ball over, but they don't shoot the free throw well either. They're only 1 of 7 from the line, 2 missed there. Last opportunity for University, and despite being behind by as many as 7 points, they can go into halftime with the lead here. Fighting back, their two-point shooting has really gotten better here during the last couple of minutes.
And that will not take us to the end of the half as we had a foul as time expired. The foul was called against number 4, Lewis Arnold. That'll be his second and the team's 5th. 3 shots coming to Machuca.
And again, we talked about this a lot during the first game, Mark. You're seeing it repeating itself here. Self-inflicted damage. That was not a smart foul. Machuca was a good 5 feet behind the arc there. And now University, for all their efforts and successful efforts at tying this ball game up, coming back from a 7-point lead, they just left a couple of points on the board. Actually, they left 3 points, as that free throw violation will be the end of the first half.
And that takes us to halftime. None of those 3 baskets counted. The third one is ruled illegal because of a lane violation, and so that will take us to halftime with the score unchanged, and it's a new ball game. 20-20 is the score at the end of 2 periods here in Game 2 of the 9th Annual Metro versus Florida Challenge. We want to take this opportunity to thank a few more of our sponsors, including Commissioner Kyle Becker of the City of Apopka. We also want to extend our appreciation to AM 1520 WBZW. They are great supporters of Blue Darter Athletics all year long, and in particular, they have been generous with their promotion of the Metro versus Florida Challenge. And we want to thank Baptiste Orthodontics, who has not just 2, but now 3 offices in the Central Florida area. The third one just opened down the road from us here at 12 South Park Avenue, across the street from Kitland Nelson Park. More convenient than ever for your Apopka orthodontic care. Quality braces start at $129 a month. Call for your free consultation today. And Elevate Orlando, a civic nonprofit that helps students grow in strength of character and application of life skills. For those of you who are listening to us online, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back in about 8 minutes here at Game 2, 20-20, all tied up between University and Astronaut at halftime. The War Eagles have the opening possession of the second half. Traveling Cougars ball. And so, Neil, we are now back to live action here at Joe Sterling Gymnasium with a tie ball game as the Cougars frittered away 3 free throws at the end of the previous period, and we've got a new ball game.
Yeah, 2020, and a great opportunity for University to really establish some momentum and some rhythm. Of course, they were down by 7 points at one point in the first half before tying the ball game.
Carlos Machuca on the assist that time to number 12. Ryan Diali for 3.
And as we said, going into right before halftime there, Mark, it really was an up and down, very two opposites. Statistics certainly bear that out. University, to use an old cliche, couldn't hit the broadside of a barn, only 2 of 14 from 2-point range. They were at money at 3-point range, going 5 of 11. That's a combined 7 of 25. The good news for University, though, was they did score. Both of those 2-point baskets came at the end of the second half. So it looks like maybe they're starting to find the rhythm from 2-point range. On the other hand, Astronaut was 8 of 16 for 2-point range. Excellent shooting, 50%, but they turned the ball over 10 times. And again, as I like to say, and you know, this isn't a very complex quote.
Machuca to Shepard for 2. No, it's not a complex code at all. I'll let you say yours now.
But that's basically, if you don't have the ball, you can't shoot it. If you can't shoot it, you can't score. So really very two opposite ends of the range for both teams. Excellent shooting from University for 3-point land, but only 2-point land, 2 of 14. Astronaut shooting very well in general, but turning the ball over 10 times.
And ladies and gentlemen, again, we invite you to pick up a copy of the program at the admission table. They're just $1 each. It actually costs us more than that to print them, but we want you to have one anyway, so we sell them for just $1. If that's even too much, though, for you, you can always get it online as well, absolutely free, in full color, metrovsfl.com. And as we are just getting into the second half, we'll give you your halftime stats. For Astronaut, you've got Jace Carter leading his team with 9 points and 6 rebounds. Also putting points on the board, Keyshawn Summers with 4, Jaden Dollard with 3, and DeTwain Joe and Kario Okendo with 2 each. University is unsurprisingly led by Carlos Machuca, who has 9 points, 2 rebounds, and 3 assists, 2 of which he just picked up here. Carlisle and Ali have 3 each, and Dogor and Shepard have 2 each. Duke Hodge adds 4 to finish up the scoring for University.
And again, Mark, as we get ready to live action here, again, continuing the stats, Astronaut has a 24-10 advantage, 16-8 in rebounds, 16-8 offensive or defensively, 8-2 8-2 defensively. So both areas they are dominating as well as shooting well, but again, they keep turning the ball over, 10 in the first half. The other stat, University turned it over only 4 times. The other stat, both teams not shooting the ball well from free throw line.
Foul is called against number 12, Ryan Daly. That's his first and the team's first this half. Returning to the game for Astronaut, number 55, Keyshawn Summers.
So again, free throw shooting is only 1 of 7 for Astronaut and 1 for 5 for University. As you mentioned, University missed 3 consecutive free throws at the end of the first half. As a matter of fact, there was no time left on the clock. Just a horrible decision by Astronaut to foul what was a 3-point field goal attempt. No chance for it to be made as it was about 5 feet behind the arc. But then University returned the favor by missing 3 straight free throws. And, of course, the last one was a violation on the shooter.
Ryan Varner for 3 on the pass from Chase Carter.
Who scored that? 21. So that 3-point field goal by Ryan Farner, important, breaks a 8-0 run. I was also going to mention that the University closed out the first half by scoring the last 5 points, and then they got the first 5 here in the second quarter, or the second half. So it was actually 10 in a row, please excuse me.
Nice inside move there, and that is Carlos Machuca to Eric Shepard. Machuca, look at him. He actually doesn't have any points this half, but he's got 3 assists since they came back from the break.
Yeah, and again, we started off this broadcast emphasizing Machuca's importance. He's a senior. He's been an integral part of this program's rise over the last 2 years. And even when he's not scoring, indicated by the 3 assists, he's making his presence known in other areas. Great stabilizing force for University, obviously scoring 9 points at halftime, but also being able to set up his teammates as well.
And there's an example of that. Machuca to Bello there for 2.
So, and also that, again, the bugaboo for Astronaut, the turnover. University saw an opening, put that hand in there, got the quick swipe, and then followed that up with a quick pass over to Machuca. Machuca doing his part again. Great decision-making, getting it to the open teammate. And their great help side defense. 3 Cougars came over and closed the door under the basket.
Carlos Machuca for 3. So he's been sleeping, giving assists to everybody else, and then finally he unleashes a 3 of his own.
So, and again, there you see the reverse. This time it was Machuca benefiting from great passing from his teammates. Although Machuca did have a nice stroke there, beautiful. A lapse on the Astronaut defense's part by leaving him open, and Machuca struck quickly.
Dwayne Joe comes in for Astronaut.
So, and again, this is the Metro versus Florida Challenge. For those of you who aren't familiar, it's very simple. All the schools that are in Orange County are members of the Metro Conference. And each game, we have 20 of them over the course of this long weekend, we'll be taking on a team from outside the conference called Florida, and we add up who wins the most at the end of the game. The Florida got off to the early start here, winning the first game with Windermere Prep, defeating Freedom. If University holds on, we'll be 1-all. And I think this will be an important victory for University as well, being that they rallied. They were behind by as many as 7 in the first half. And quite frankly, since about halfway through the second quarter, Mark, University has really looked like they found their game.
Yeah. And Astronaut so far is struggling to respond here in the second half, although they will draw a foul here. Foul is called against number 12, Ryan Dali. That's his second personal foul. And the team's second this half. It'll send Jace Carter to the free throw line to shoot 2 for the War Eagles.
Have a seat, please, to see if it goes in or not.
And as we mentioned, University has been on a run. That run is now up to 17-3. It's actually 17-4 with the free throw. They scored the last 5 points of the first half, and they have now scored 12 of the first 17 here in the third quarter. Although Astronaut gets 2 free throws there, they needed those desperately. As I mentioned, they were only 1 of 7 at halftime, and then missed 1 of the first 5 here in the third quarter. And so now Astronaut, they switch between man and man in the 2-3 zone. They're in man-to-man right now.
Open to Ali, can't get the 3 to go. Rebound goes to Carter. Shepard picks up a steal in transition. We're back at the other end, and it's good. 3-point basket scored by Ryan Diali.
So now that run here in the second half is 15-5. And again, important baskets for University to reestablish that lead. This is their actually the biggest of the game at 10 points. But more importantly, it does not leave the door open for Astronaut to make an answer.
Basket scored by DeTwain Joe on the pass from Kario Okendo.
So good passing inside there. A couple of quick triangle-shaped passes get the man open.
And in spite of the overall good performance of the Cougars, we still are going to get a timeout called by their coach here. The Cougars request a 30-second timeout. And ladies and gentlemen, we still got one more game coming up for you tonight, and then a total of 20. This is just game 2 out of 20. Up next, we'll have the Cypress Creek Bears taking on the Masters Academy Eagles, and that is scheduled for an 8 o'clock start time tonight. We're going to try to get you out of here on time tonight so that you can come back and join us tomorrow for 3 more games, then 7 games on Saturday, and 7 games on Monday, the holiday. We hope you'll join us for all of those, whether you're here in person or virtually on our YouTube channel, Metro vs. Florida Challenge.
So now over the last minute or so, Mark, we've seen basically the teams exchange points and baskets. Seems to be settling down.
Yeah, some good defensive work there by Keyshawn Summers, but it's going to stay on the Cougar side of the court.
We seem to be settling down into a game of the lead being between about 6 and 8 points.
Arnold returns to the game for Astronaut.
Obviously, good effort.
Keyshawn Summers is just bound and determined to get that ball. He's going to get a touch on it whether he gets it or not. It's twice in a row he's done that.
I was going to say, a great effort by him. That's obvious. Unfortunately, just can't quite be able to corral the ball. Ran out of space there. But those are the kind of plays that Astronaut needs right now if they're going to be able to come from behind here and win. They're down by 8 points here just before the end of the third quarter. So the
foul called against number 55, Keyshawn Summers. It's his 3rd personal foul. The team's first this half.
So the advantages with University, at least as far as being able to go a couple of possessions without giving up, without scoring. Still plenty of time, though. It's not certainly a done deal. And now Astronaut is extending the University's offense all the way out almost to half court. They're still remaining in man-to-man, but they're coming out with the perimeter players.
Joe gets the rebound for the War Eagles, and a good inside cut there. Joe on the pass to Arnold for the Astronaut basket.
So 4 consecutive points here by Astronaut, and we have a 6-point lead with under a minute left. And this is an important possession for University. Still have plenty of time, but again, you don't want those 4 points to turn into 6 or 8 points.
Bello to Shepard with the Cougars answer.
And you also don't want to be going into that fourth quarter scoreless, too.
Keyshawn Summers for the War Eagles.
So both teams here making the most of the last 20 seconds or so of the fourth quarter. As we mentioned, University did not shoot the ball well. As a matter of fact, they were very bad, getting only 2 baskets, and those were the last minute of the first half. But they've come out very strong here in the third quarter.
Roberto Bello gets the last word of the third period, and it takes it to an 8-point lead after University had a big opening to the second half. 39-31 is the score. 8-point advantage for the Cougars going into the final 8 minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank Burnfat Orlando and St. Germain Chiropractic Clinic, our presenting sponsors of the 9th Annual Metro vs. Florida Challenge. Burnfat Orlando invites you to lose up to 30 to 40 pounds, offering the tools and guidance you need to achieve better health and your weight loss goals with an inviting atmosphere and friendly staff and programs. It's your chance to take charge of your weight and your life. It's more than just watching the scale drop. That's something Burnfat Orlando clearly understands. They offer a customized approach, personalized programs, fast results, real nutrition, and a strong support network. We also thank St. Germain Chiropractic Clinics, the best non-invasive healthcare services in the Central Florida, Orlando area. Most insurance is accepted if you have back or neck pain, headaches, if you've been in an auto accident or a slip and fall, or you have any musculoskeletal conditions, give them a call. St. Germain Chiropractic Clinics. Cougars have the opening possession of the fourth quarter. All right, Neil, we've got 8 minutes left on the clock, and we've so far had a couple of good games. At the very end, the game kind of slipped away from freedom, but this game has been close all the way. I don't think we've ever been separated by more than 10 points, and War Eagle certainly staying in it. Well, and we're going to get first action, though, to the Cougars as Carlos Machuca opens up fourth quarter scoring for University.
As you mentioned, perhaps there have been stretches where both teams' play has left something to be desired, but in the end, both games have been competitive, although this game might be getting away from that with a 10-point lead now by University. And, of course, no sooner do I say that than we get a bad pass and an interception.
Number 11, Kario Kendo gets the second chance basket.
So, again, looking at the stats, Mark, as I mentioned, and I can't keep stressing this enough, I know it gets boring, but I really feel it's the story of the game. University was 2 of 14 at halftime. They were 5 of 6 from two-point range in that third quarter. So a complete turnaround, and of course that adds to their strength, which is three-point shooting. They're now 8 of 17. And I was very, very impressed with the turnovers, which was exactly 0 in that third quarter by University.
Foul is called against number 55, Keyshawn Summers. His fourth personal foul, the team's second this half. And that will send Carlos Machuca to the line, shooting 2 for the Cougars.
So when you add up all those stats, the improvement in the field goal shooting, along with continuing to shoot well from the arc, and no turnovers, you get a team that was 7 points behind at one point in the first half to entering this fourth quarter with a 8-point lead.
Now that foul is important for the Cougars there as Keyshawn Summers of Astronaut picks up his fourth. And we've heard his name a lot tonight. He's got 6 points and 2 rebounds, and he's certainly also very much an intangibles player as well.
And also adding to that, Mark, we mentioned it from the beginning, Carlos Machuca. He has come in, he has lived up to entering the fourth.
To Twain Joe for 3 on the pass from number 4, Lewis Arnold.
So again, as we said, as that third quarter came to an end, this game has really settled into about a 5 to 8 point lead for University. And it seems like every time Astronaut gets a couple possessions, which they cut that lead down to 5, University comes back and answers. They're not always pretty, but they get the baskets when they need to.
Okendo on the layup.
So 5-point lead again. Can University answer once again? And by the way, we mentioned throughout that first half, Astronaut's been shooting well. They are now 11 of 22 from two-point range, and that's been their average, 50% throughout each of the quarter. 5 of 9 in the first, 8 of 16 at halftime. And now we're seeing for the first time, University does not get the points when that lead's been cut down to 5.
Foul is called against number 5, Robert Bello. That's his second personal foul, the team's third. At the line, shooting 2, number 3, to Twain Joe. And that we're hoping that scoreboard at the bottom of your screen is going to catch up in a second here. It's fallen about a minute behind and a couple of points as well.
Yeah, the current score is 43-39, an opportunity for Astronaut to cut it to 3 points with Joe at the line, and they do. So the first time either team has made both baskets, both free throws. That's been a weak spot for both teams. Only 1 of 5 after 3 for University and 3 of 9 for Astronaut. Quite a bit of points left on the table, as the saying goes. Great recovery defense there for Astronaut, but again, they cannot hold on to the ball. 15th turnover for Astronaut.
Red 4.
Foul's called against number 4, Lewis Armstrong. It's his third, the team's third.
So even with the reduction of turnovers there in that third quarter, Astronaut had 10 in the first half. They committed only 3, but that's still been a bugaboo. When you're behind by 8, 9, 10 points, as Astronaut have, you really don't have any room for even 1 or 2 turnovers.
And good work by Oquendo there as they forced the Cougars to take a timeout. Rodriguez got trapped, and we're going to get a full timeout called by the Cougars. Ladies and gentlemen, we invite you to visit MetroVSFL.com. Regardless of whether you're watching us online on YouTube right now or whether you are here in the arena, make sure you visit MetroVSFL.com. You'll find the complete history of the event. We've been doing this for 9 years, counting this one, and every year it is a showcase of the best Orlando Metro Conference talent against some of the best programs outside of the Metro Conference in the greater Central Florida area. And it started at Wekiva 9 years ago. It moved to Apopka a few years ago, and it is going strong. We have 20 games this year. You can get a preview of all 39 teams that are participating in the Metro versus Florida Challenge. We have team capsules on all of them with their season outlooks, complete rosters, and more. All of that is, again, on our website, MetroVSFL.com. You can also purchase a souvenir program at the admission table for just $1.
So a real quick note here too, Mark, since you were talking about Metro versus Florida. Our last game tonight, which is the 3rd overall, pitched Cypress Creek against the Masters Academy. That should be a very competitive one too. In the meantime, though, we have had a good competitive game here. As we mentioned, both teams have been up and down as far as the consistency of their play. They've left something to be desired, some bad decisions. But all in all, the game has been competitive.
And you can hear in the background the reaction from the War Eagles as the Cougars are called for traveling. Astronaut ball.
So now for about halfway through the second quarter to the end of the third quarter, University really started to play well. They were moving the ball on offense efficiently. They were moving defensively efficiently. They gained that 10-point lead. The play has dropped somewhat here, even though they still have the lead. And now it's a matter of can they make the plays here in the last 3.5 minutes to keep this lead. As we mentioned, so far they have throughout the third quarter. The last couple of times, though, they've turned the ball over, bad decisions, and that's allowed Astronaut the opportunity to cut that lead to 3, the smallest it's been since University took the lead early in the third.
Foul called against number 3, Dwayne Joe. That's his second personal foul, the team's 4th.
Of course, at this point, fouls are not a factor. Machuca
misses the 3, but manages to chase down his own rebound.
Yeah,
in fairness to the War Eagles, though, they've closed it to a one-possession ball game, so we may yet have a photo finish here in game 2.
Hard work there pays off for Machuca. And we mentioned another key to this game, and in particular University rallying from a 7-point deficit to take as much as a 10-point lead, is their field goal shooting improved from 2 of 14 in the first half to 5 of 6 in the third quarter. Now we're seeing it dip a little bit more on the last handful of possessions.
Foul is called against number 0, Jace Carter, his first, the team's 5th. Returning to the game, number 55, Keyshawn Summers.
So, I believe out of the last 5 possessions, University has only converted 1 field goal. Of course, now they got a second opportunity, really a third opportunity here, and they're not going to be able to take advantage of it.
Illegal screen is called against Eric Shepard, his second, the team's 4th, and it turns the ball over to the War Eagles. So offensive fouls are doubly penalizing there. Not only does it accumulate a foul against you, it also causes a turnover.
Yeah, and it gives Astronaut the opportunity, as you mentioned, to either cut the lead to 1 or tie the game all together. Also a note here, too, not only has the field goal percentage once again dropped for University, but the turnovers, they had 4 through the first 3 quarters. They now have 3 through the first 5.5 minutes of the 4th quarter.
White 3, white 3.
Got 2:22 left here in the ball game, 43-40. University holding the lead. University has remained in man-to-man after playing 2-3, opening the half with 2-3.
White 5, shoot 1.
Basket is good. Foul called against number 5. Roberto Bello, his 3rd, the team's 6th. Jace Carter shooting 1.
So there, Mark, you see a mistake by University. They collapsed, made contact. Great job by Carter to take advantage of it. Unfortunately, he cannot get the free throw and tie this ball game up. Nonetheless, 1 point is the smallest deficit Astronauts face since early in the 3rd quarter. Now we're going to get another turnover. Transition opportunity. Score it.
And they got it. Kario Kendo steals the layup for the Eagles.
So again, turnovers were not a problem for University until this 4th quarter. 4 turnovers in the 4th quarter, and that has been huge. 8 points scored off of that.
And the Cougars will take a 30-second timeout as the War Eagles pick up the go-ahead basket as we head into the final minute 43 of this ball game. Your stats so far: Jace Carter leads the War Eagles with 13 points and 8 rebounds. DeTwain Joe almost into double figures himself with 9 points, 4 rebounds. University is led by Carlos Machuca with 16 points, 3 rebounds, and 5 assists. And then we have 6 each on the board for Roberto Bello, Eric Shepard, and Ryan Ali. University has no fouls to give. Astronaut has 1 foul to give. And we've got a $1:43 remaining in the ball game here in Game 2 of the 9th Annual Metro versus Florida Challenge. Putback made by number 0, Jace Carter.
Well, if you're University, and I don't think I'm saying anything shocking here, your thought is, oh no. 5th turnover now for University in this quarter. And a 3-point lead for Astronaut. They've roared from behind, Mark.
Yeah, and again, we're waiting for that. There it goes. Score finally updated there, 46-43. Block is called against Keyshawn Summers. That's his 5th personal foul. And he retires from the game with 6 points and 2 rebounds for the War Eagles.
So again, Mark, we've mentioned this a handful of times throughout this game. Both teams have made some bad decisions. Both teams have had some bad play. But in the end, we've seen a very competitive game. Not always the prettiest, but it's been competitive, and the score has changed hands. Again, both teams have put together what is usually game-winning runs.
Jaden Dollard is called on the foul. It's his first, the team's 7th, and it will send the Cougars to the free throw line. Carlos Machuca is at the charity stripe for University. And let's see, waiting for the call here to see if that was shooting or if that was on the floor. It is on the floor, so it'll be 1-1.
So now we've mentioned this also throughout the game, the role that free throws have played. Neither team has shot the ball well from the charity stripe. 1 of 5 for University.
No, it is 2 shots. 2 shots for a shooting foul.
Yeah, 1 of 5 for University. Astronaut is only 5 of 10. Excuse me, 5 of 14. They were 2 of 2, though, the last time they went. That's a bunch of points left on the table for both teams.
And an 0 for 2 there is definitely costly to the Cougars. They had an opportunity to pull within 1. And yet it remains a 1-possession game, but they're going to have to hit a 3 or 2 twos, and they've got under a minute to do it. Nobody has a foul to give, so any foul will result in shots other than offensive. And here, Kario Okendo draws a foul on the way up. He'll go to the line and shoot 2. Cougars foul is called against number 14, Prince Doghor, his 3rd and the team's 7th.
So, and again, after reading those stats, the free throw shooting, that might be your best option right now for both teams. University needed desperately to get a stop there, and they're going to come out of this. It proves to be true that making the foul, committing the foul, is the best option. Best case scenario now for Astronaut is 1 point, and University's going to get out of this without giving up any points and basically accomplishing their objective of holding Astronaut scoreless.
Red 4.
Foul is called against number 4, Lewis Arnold. It's his 4th personal foul, the team's 8th. At the line, shooting bonus, Prince Doghor. And Neil, finally a little bit of good news at the charity stripe.
Yeah, and that's actually a huge advantage for University, not just in the sense of the tangible of the score, but they only used about 3 there's only about 3 seconds which came off the clock.
We'll pause here for a timeout requested by University, and it will be a full timeout called by the Cougars. That leaves the Cougars with 1 full remaining and 2.5 timeouts remaining on the Astronaut side. Ladies and gentlemen, we want to once again thank our partners who helped to make the Metro vs. Florida Challenge possible. This is a 20-game showcase with a lot of expenses. We have 3 officials at each game. We have our hospitality. We have a number of facility fees that we have involved in this, and so it is a major effort to put together this event every year, and we could not do it without the support of our partners. We encourage you to pick up that Sponsors and Rankings program that is available at the admission table, and please support these organizations as they are great organizations that are deeply involved in our community. Certainly none more so than Baptiste Orthodontics. Just opened a new office here in Apopka across from Kitland Nelson Park at 12 South Park Avenue. That's just their 3rd of 3 locations. They're also on Colonial Drive and Conroy Windermere Road. So wherever you are, they can serve you with all kinds of different options, from traditional braces to Invisalign, Clear Correct, and much more. Schedule your free consultation today.
So now University goes full court defense here. It's still man-to-man. 42 seconds left. So obviously this possession might just decide the game.
Held ball, possession, War Eagles. And they'll catch a break there. You see that little tiny gold basketball icon on your scoreboard. If you've been wondering all game, that's what that means.
It's who gets the left-hand corner.
That's who gets the next jump ball, so now it's going to move to University. Kario Okendo is fouled on the attempt. He'll go to the line and shoot 2 for the War Eagles. Cougar foul called against number 5, Roberto Bella. That's his 4th personal foul, the team's 8th.
So, and we haven't mentioned Akendo's name much tonight, Mark, but he is a Florida Hoops 2020 member. That's the ranking. 2020 is the class. He's listed as the number 8th best player in the state of Florida. And for as much as we've lamented about the poor free throw shooting, when Astronaut absolutely had it, no other choice, Akendo drains 2. Got a 3-point lead now, 29.1 seconds.
Yeah, so we're effectively back where we started. We traded free throws on both ends. Still a 3-point advantage for the War Eagles, and a blocked shot. Look at that.
So again, that's one of those plays, just like the free throws. If you want to win this game, you absolutely no room for error. Got to come up with a stop on that possession.
Roberto Bello is called on his 5th personal foul, and he'll retire from the game with 6 points, 2 rebounds, and 2 assists for University. Checking in for him is Jariel Pagan. And then at the other end, Kario Okendo, who just picked up a blocked shot, will now have 2 free throws for the War Eagles.
So the good news for Astronaut is, of course, you like to make both these free throws, but you don't necessarily have to. One free throw would make it a 2-possession game. Of course, you missing both, but hey, we got a loose ball. Oh, University, great work there. Can they take advantage of it? They got to get a tray here. 5 seconds. Here we go.
For the game, short. And that takes us to the end of the ball game in a back-and-forth contest. All game long, it is the War Eagles who will be on top when time runs out, and it's a 3-point victory. 48-45 is the final score here in game number 2, and the Florida teams take a 2-0 lead over the Metro Conference to open up the 9th annual Metro vs. Florida Challenge. Ladies and gentlemen, we thank you so much for joining us here tonight at Apopka High School's Joe Sterling Gymnasium, or for headed to our website on our YouTube channel, Metro vs. Florida Challenge. Either way, we hope you'll stick around because we have one more game coming to you tonight, and it's going to be Cypress Creek against the Masters Academy. That's coming up next. If you are joining us virtually, though, we do want to remind you that each one of these games this year is on its own separate YouTube event. So you will need to exit this live stream and then find the next one on our channel homepage or on MetroVSFL.com. We'll see you in about 10 minutes.